Channel to RFC 26 career mode. This is an episode in which we are going to have a bit of transfer news dropped around the club, and we're also going to be seeing what we do in the UEFA Champions League if we can book our place in the knockout stages automatically without a qualification game with Ajax away. So we'll kick things off against Spurs away. We'll then face Ajax away from home. We'll then play Brentford away from home. 3 games away from home. We've got transfer deadline day on the 31st, and then it will be maybe some Champions League action here. If not, it will be Villa at home to end the episode. We'll have to see. That is how this episode is looking. And of course, there is going to be some transfers because we always go and make some signs of some younger players in the transfer window. We're going to get this game against Spurs out of the way, and then we're going to look at the options and also make a few young signings for the future of the club. We are currently 9 points clear top of that Premier League table, ahead of Liverpool, ahead of Arsenal, ahead of Newcastle, of 3 sides who throughout this series so far and going to Season 2 are the sides competing with us. Bournemouth all the way up in 6th place, they're doing really good and they're battling Man United, Nottingham Forest, Brighton and Aston Villa to the extent, and Spurs you could say, and even Chelsea in that top 10. To all get European football next season. However, I think the top 4 is confirmed. It's really a battle for that 5th place. It depends. Newcastle could drop out of form. Down the bottom, it is Ipswich Town. It is Birmingham City and it's Crystal Palace down there as well. Sunderland, Everton looking to try and stay up. It looks like Everton will escape. It looks like Sunderland and Palace will be one of the sides that go down with Birmingham and Ipswich, the 2 newly promoted sides. That have not been doing so well at all. Our test today, of course, is Tottenham Hotspur, 10th place Spurs. Looking decent, looking okay, but I mean 10th place isn't enough. That is the level Spurs are at the moment, isn't it? We've been up and down. I mean, we've only lost 1 game all season, which is frustrating, that simulation against Brentford at home, I think it was. They beat us by 2-1. That's their only defeat all season. We could have been undefeated if it wasn't for that. Our goal difference is massive compared to the rest. We've scored way more than anyone else, way more, but we've conceded actually a bit more than Arsenal, are a better defensive side than us, so our defence is certainly the issue in the team. Goal difference of 43 though, it is fantastic. At the halfway point of the season, 22 games played, everything's looking in Manchester City's favour. Championship, West Ham United top of that with Leeds United in 2nd. Top scorers, we don't want the top scorers of the Championship. On the top scorers of the Premier League, it's still Erling Haaland with 24 and 22. But he has slowed down. In the last episode, he scored only 1 goal. Oh, he scored a hat-trick in the last episode. The whole game of the Champions League against Real Madrid. Rodri Semenyo stuck there with assist. Doku in there as well, which we know that's a bit of an issue. And Ryan Cherki with 5 as well. Let's hope we can keep this performance. That Real Madrid game at the end of last episode, I think, is going to launch us back to the level that we know we can be. And let's really ride out. We've rode out the storm now, I think, of this season. Let's get this one against Spurs. Let's end the transfer window with some younger players, additions to the squad for the future. And let's keep this level now till the end of the season. The sign for Tottenham Hotspur today, the usual front 3 of Marmoush, Haaland and Semenyo. The usual 3 of Cherki, Rodri and the Reigns in that midfield. It's Aitnew at left back today. He had a fantastic game against Real Madrid, so he gets the nod today. El Hilali at right back and Captain Diaz, Paragnoshko Vardiol in defence. It's Donnarumma in goal. And 2 surprises really on the bench. The usual bench, the players we've got, of course, with players out injured. But no Savinho, it is Makeda instead. And no Rico Lewis, it's Mikasa instead. These young players, I do think, deserve a chance more this season. And Savinho's not been performing. Neither has Rico Lewis when he played. So those 2 are there and ready to perform if needed, if called upon. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium here in London. A big ground, a big atmosphere they tried to build in this new stadium of Spurs. It's difficult, isn't it, for Manchester City? We've had a poor record here in real life over the years, but we've sort of broke that curse in recent times, despite Spurs' still great record against Manchester City. Our intention is to continue to break that record. We've been really good in this series at beating Tottenham Hotspur, and the intention is, of course, to go and do the same again. Manchester City versus Spurs, captained by 2 real warriors in defence. Ruben Dias for Manchester City, Christian Romero for Tottenham Hotspur. Thomas Frank, I believe, is still in charge, is he, of this Spurs side, despite them sitting in 10th place. I might be wrong, maybe they've replaced him, because the manager market is constantly in full flow. People moving here, there and everywhere from their clubs. Let's see how Tottenham Hotspur do line up against Manchester City today. So 4-3-3 for possibly Thomas Frank's side. In goal starts Vicario. It's a back 4 of Romero, Danzo, Jose Gaya and Jed Spence. Madison, Sarr and Ruiz in the midfield 3. Matthias Tell there. And actually, it is no longer Thomas Frank. It's from a Chelsea man, Enzo Manesca, in charge of the Spurs team. Cherki across. That's nice feet. Depay. Well, Hilali can't make the challenge on Memphis Depay here. The ball behind to Matthias Tell. Across they go, and James Maddison is in. Good chance, big miss into the hands of Donnarumma. Rolls it easily out to Tajani Reinders. Ball wide to Semenyo. Space here. Semenyo through to Shirky. And again here, Shirky. Cross to Mamouche. Great defending by Romero. Brilliant defending from Cuti Romero there. Oh, through to Shirky by the fullback. Poor pass. City are open on this far side again. It's Depay against Diaz. And inside they go. Depay still ghosting out that far side. Over top towards Kudus. Aït-Nouri. Got a lost Mohamed Kudus here. What a strike off the crossbar. Depay. Inside by the Dutchman. He's offside. Memphis Depay. Mohamed Kudus there. Cuts inside. It's the crossbar. Depay's in offside position. Luckily for us. Not the pass I played. He played it anyway. Diaz intercepts it. Rodri. Forward to Haaland. Behind towards Semenyo. Semenyo forward to Haaland. Good ball. Haaland the volley! Oh, what a hit by Erling Haaland. And City lead just before the break. He's 25th this season, 23 appearances. That's a really good finish from Erling Haaland there. An assist for Semenyo. Just lifts it over the top here. First time volley from Erling Haaland. Such a difficult technique. And he catches it well. Fires that into side netting past Vicario with power. Good play. For Kudus in space again. Right, new across. Madison. Matthias Tell. All City opened up here. Sarr. Sarr still going. Aït-Nouri can't block it. Spurs score 1-1. Bad by Aït-Nouri defensively there. I think again. Aït-Nouri's got to do better here. Rodri. Reinders. Shirky. Mamouche. Aït-Nouri in the overlap here. Back to Shirky. Ryan Shirky! Good save. Into Haaland and cleared off the line by Danzo before it even went towards the goal. Semenyo against Gaia. Rodri. Back wide to Semenyo. He'll hold off Gaia surely. Semenyo. Back to Haaland. Great defending by Romero again. He's been brilliant at the back for Spurs. Shirky. Poke through to Mamouche. Not having a good game either, Omar Mamouche. Tell. Kudus. Matthias Tell. Aït-Nouri. Asking to make the challenge. He side against it. Diaz will as well. Another challenge evaded. Good goal by Matthias Tell. 2-1 down to Spurs. I mean, how do we not win the ball there 2 or 3 times, Manchester City? Semenyo. There's Jed Spence. Great play into O'Reilly here. Cross the box. Haaland and Bob are there. Bob doesn't really attack it. O'Reilly's cross isn't the best either. Behind for a throw-in. Anderson. Semenyo on the outside. Back inside by Semenyo. Semenyo still going here. Antoine Semenyo! Saved away by Vicario. Rodri down to the big man. Semenyo. Shirky. Into the box here. Semenyo is there. Antoine Semenyo! 2-2. It's a late one from Semenyo. He's 14th of the season. Brilliant find from Ryan Shirky. 2-2. And I think he's going to rescue a point there for Manchester City. What a ball in by Shirky. For whatever reason, we don't get to see a replay of that one. 2-2. Get Spence. Do not let this slip, City. Tell. Great feet past Vardiol. Matthias Tell wins it for Spurs in the 91st minute. There you go. We have got big defensive issues. We thought that since the start of the season. And we've proven it again here with our second defeat of the season. Semenyo scores what he thinks is a late equaliser. And then we go and defend like that, which we can't see the replay of. Shirky comes off for a standing ovation. The last kick of the game. Full time, Tottenham 3, Manchester City 2. Boy, did they have a real hold over Manchester City. On the horns again. And City lose by 3-2 to Spurs. Way to start the episode, boys. Rubbish. So for analysis of the Spurs game, I think things really didn't go well in that one, did they? I mean, we thought it was going to be good ratings, actually. I think when we got to 2-2, these ratings would have been very different. But then come the end of it, come the end of the game, losing the final minutes, and the ratings obviously are pretty harsh on the players. There's some players that performed reasonably well. I think that Haaland was okay. Obviously, Semenyo getting the late equaliser was okay. I thought Ryan Cherki had a decent game as well, but it wasn't enough, was it? Manchester City lose to Spurs, and the analysis reflects that really. The defence letting us down. Donnarumma not really making any saves. Reinders was really poor in midfield, and then like Vini Jr at left back, he was atrocious as well. So low ratings as expected. Now, as always, we're looking to bring in some young players for the future of this club. We've picked out 2 young players as options. The first one is a centre-back. I know we have Stefan Mafoni, but I think in terms of centre-backs, we've got lots of young centre-backs in the squad, but right-sided centre-backs. And I thought, you know what? We need to look for another left-hand-sided centre-back. And Goncalo Oliveira of Benfica could perhaps be the next Ruben Diaz on the left-hand side. He looks pretty good, actually. He's only 5'11", which is a bit small, but he's quite an aggressive defender, 20 years of age. The intention is to bring him in and then probably send him out on loan, hopefully to Girona. I mean, that would be a really good place for him to develop over maybe 2 seasons or so. I think Hugo Viana has got a real understanding, City sporting director of the Portuguese market, so he could be a really good player to bring in and be that defender, can play stopper, wide back. Statistically, he looks okay as well. 68 rated is not the highest at this moment in time, but at 20 years of age, there's certainly a lot of development in there, and I think he's probably got potential around 80 something, although we know that with dynamite potential in this obviously game now, that you can sort of develop players into something they really weren't expected to be. So Goncalo Oliveira is option 1. And option 2 we're looking at is a player from one of our sister clubs in Brazil, in Bahia, and that is Del. 18 years of age, this young striker, already 71 rated at 18, so he's quite way ahead in his development. Good pace, good shooting, good dribbling, and a reasonable physical, only 5'8". He has been sort of rumoured to be the sort of new Erling Haaland to an extent, hasn't he? I mean, look at that pace, look at his stats. He looks good, and I think he could be a really good option for this Manchester City side for the future. Now, we won't have to pay a transfer fee exactly for him because it is one of our clubs. We'll be able to transfer him in. We've kept an eye on his development for many years now, this 18-year-old, and you can see good finishing, good short passing. There's sort of a lot to him that makes him very exciting. He wears number 89. He's Brazilian. He's a striker. Who can't get excited about the possibility of him to come to the club? So the first signing is agreed. The first signing happens. It is Goncalo Oliveira. He joins Manchester City in a deal from Benfica. He won't wear the number 2, but he will maybe in our youth system. As he joins the club, he'll get his chance there, get his chance to play for Manchester City if he does join the club. So Goncalo Oliveira, welcome to Manchester City. €3 million we pay for him. And Del, it's sort of an undisclosed fee because it is a sister club. We can sort of trade players between them. He was worth around €8 million. It said we probably have paid somewhere around that mark. So Del joins the club. Goncalo Oliveira joins the club. I think he has a big future and maybe the next Erling Haaland in a sense that he's a different sort of player, but the Brazilian Haaland, a short Haaland, maybe only at 5'8". Maybe that's a poor comparison, you could say. You see Del there, you can see his stats. I mean, great speed, good finishing already, and good shot power, great agility, reactions, and short passing. And physically, he's not so bad either, 68 jumping. So we're going to work on him. We'll try and get him on a loan probably next season. And then as for Goncalo Oliveira, we're going to try and get him on loan this season if we can get a move to Girona for him. Also, more unexpected events hit Manchester City now, and it's Hotel Mayhem. During your team's stay at a hotel, a late-night firework display disrupted the team's sleep. Some of your players looked visibly tired. You'll need to check your team sheet and decide if they have enough energy for the upcoming match. That is very, very frustrating. A big Champions League game against Ajax, and we might be without some of our biggest players. And here is one of the players that says that he can't play today. It's Ruben Diaz. Sorry, boss, I am so tired. But you know I will always try to lead by example. He wants to give this one out. You can rest, I'll rotate the squad. Diaz doesn't play. You can see there it says Hotel Mayhem ahead of today's fixture. Pep Guardiola squad was kept awake through the night due to impromptu firework display. I'm interested to see what the sides ends up looking like. And this is our Champions League game is looking like going to the final game of the sort of league qualification stage. Match day 8, Manchester City on 14 points. A win here today would get us qualified automatically. A draw may mean that we also stay there, but there's lots of teams on 14, 13 points and around us. So a win's probably the only way to confirm it. A draw depends on the others. A loss, even so, I think we'll be still going through to the Champions League. We'll have to go through another qualifying stage game, which you really don't want to be doing. I want to look at Ajax and see that they are a very different side to the one that we've seen over the years. I mean, there's not very many known players in there from the Ajax side we know from the past. But one man up top, the big man, Van Weghorst, the former Man United and Burnley man, he is a big aim for them, a big player for them. And Mocchio in the whole midfield role. Young midfielder, linked with Manchester City, linked with a lot of clubs. Only 17, 18 years of age. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Well, the whole side's pretty much been obliterated by fitness, sharpness and so on, with only Rodri and Erling Haaland, the fully fit players who managed to get a good night's sleep. Maybe they shared the room together in the hotel in the Netherlands. So Donnarumma starting goal. It's Nunez, Captain Stones, Vardy, O'Reilly, City's back four. Rodri, Lewis and Anderson in the midfield three. Savinho on the right, Marmoush on the left and Erling Haaland through the middle. We've got Mkhitaryan, Bob, Mukasa, Reinders, Nico, El Hilali, Vita Heiss and also Kusanov on that City bench. No Ruben Diaz, too tired, no Ait-Nouri. A few players missing out, some big players. So Johan Cruyff Arena, Manchester City take on Ajax today. Ajax, who are not the powerhouse side from the Netherlands that they have been in years gone past. The side that not too long ago were getting to a Champions League semi-final. City take them on today in the Netherlands in an atmosphere which will be good. A really interesting stadium to go to. I've been on a tour of this stadium. It's a brilliant place to go. This is the penultimate game of the UEFA Champions League qualification stage, really, for the knockout stages. Ajax, I think, are in a pretty poor position themselves. They've not had a great campaign. Manchester City, a draw, depending on other results around them, will mean them quickly qualify. A defeat as well is not so bad, but Ajax are at risk of elimination. Manchester City need a win to confirm a place automatically anyway in the knockout stage in the round of 16. Let's see how Ajax do line up officially today. This is the Ajax side then. So they're captained by Kenneth Taylor. Araujo is in goal. No Weghorst up top. It's Kasper Dolberg. There is Mailer in that left-back role. Satalo, the Ricky Push in there as well as Mukeo as well. Mora on the left, Berghuis on the right. Dolberg up top. It's not a very particularly strong Ajax side at all, is it? One that City should be beating. Is in store for Manchester City, who's defending poorly again here. Just can't get the ball away. Eventually, O'Reilly does. It's behind for a corner. Defensively, there's a bit of an overhaul perhaps due to this side. Anderson in there. It's off the line by Manchester City. Rodri. Anderson. Rodri. Anderson makes a run into the wide area here. Anderson the ball in. Howell is with a header. Oh, what a save by the goalkeeper. Tips it up and over the bar. Behind for a corner. In by Savinho. John Stones and another brilliant save by the goalkeeper. Mocchio again. And behind the City defence. Stones can't the challenge. Raul Moro. Away from Nunez. Ball across here. O'Reilly cuts it out. Well done, Nico O'Reilly. Lewis Anderson. Could be a counter here for City. Anderson, big switch of play. What a ball that is into Savinho into space. Brazilian Savinho. And he's lost it again. Need to see more from quite a lot of these players, really. Dolberg wide. Oh, and City in trouble here. Here's Berghuis. John Stones across quickly. Chance for Raul Moro. What a save by Gianluigi Donnarumma. Mukasa. Mkhitaryan. Nunez. Rodri. Haaland. Omar Marmoush for Manchester City. Laid off by Erling Haaland. And City have the lead here in Amsterdam. And it's Omar Marmoush who seems to be a key player. With his goals that he's contributing to the side, I just don't feel he's got the same level of quality as Doku. But it's laid off to by Erling Haaland and he thumps it in the back of the net. Manchester City have the lead and that could be a goal that makes us qualify automatically for the round of 16 stages. Greece. Ball out wide here. Rosa, fullback. Pass Vardio. O'Reilly tries to recover. They pulled it back here. Chance! Oh, and Ajax score anyway. We cannot keep a clean sheet if we wanted to. Kenneth Taylor with a goal. We cannot keep a clean sheet. Oh, who is that? Vitai's not marking him. Raul Moro. Nunez out of position. Vitai's dragged out now as well. Ricky Pooch. Rivardio. Good feet. Weghorst! Oh my god. See you on Ajax. We are not at the races at the moment. We are really struggling. We are really struggling. And I think we're going to have to change something tactically. Because this cannot go on. Oh, Marmoush down the outside here. Marmoush. Oh, he's got McAdoo waiting and he pays it back to no one. Unbelievable. Mikasa. Need something special. Haaland. McAdoo's on. Ryan McAdoo. Oh, into Mikasa. Divine Mikasa! Saved by the goalkeeper. And cleared away. It's going to be another defeat for Manchester City. A 2-1 defeat to Ajax. We are absolutely in free fall at the moment. And I mean, that could knock us out the UEFA Champions League. I don't know what's going on. Tactically, things are going to change from now on. The Doku situation, it all seems to stem from. And from there on out, this side, I don't know where we're going at the moment. I do not recognise this team. I do not recognise this Manchester City team. Into transfer news, John Duran returns to Aston Villa. That's a big sign. 68 million euros back in the Premier League. Some more moves that have happened around the Premier League. Playoffs give second chance after the Champions League phase. Let's make it to the round of 16, so we will go into the Champions League playoffs. Guardiola's voiced his thoughts on modern refereeing, Vardiol and discipline. Previous night's disturbance caused by fireworks, that cost us. The stamina wasn't there at the end, but defensively, we're all over the place. Well, if you look at our last 3 months that we have played in, you can see where things went wrong. Things started to go wrong with that 2-2 draw in the league against Nottingham Forest, or maybe even the full month of December. A 2-2 draw at Birmingham, a 1-1 draw at Brighton, and then things dropped off. We lost games to Brentford, we lost to Chelsea. And things continued then into the month of January, which we're in now. Losses to Bournemouth, losses to Ajax, losses to Spurs as well. We have got into the Champions League qualification stage. We are going to have to play 2 more games in that one. We've got Brentford away up next, where tactically I think we're going to have to change something now because it's not working at all, is it? Pep Guardiola needs to find something new. And tactically, the games will be up against... We're going to end the episode with a Villa game at home. We're going to play, of course, that game against Brentford away. But interestingly enough, the next episode we're going to have Ajax, we're going to have... Ajax, that is the team, isn't it, in the Champions League again, and we're going to have to try and qualify against them to try and get to the knockout stages. Arsenal we play as well, Everton, Newcastle. Things are looking a little bit bad for Manchester City at the moment. And despite recent losses and poor performances, we still find ourselves 9 points clear top of that Premier League table after 23 games. And Brentford, City's next task, one of the sides that have already beat us this season, they find themselves in 12th position. We did say we we're going to change things tactically after the recent performances and the recent sort of run that we are on. We're going to change the 4-2-3-1 formation, or the 4-2-1-3, which is going to hopefully help us better defensively, better offensively, and better tactically as well. Now, we are still suffering from tired legs after that crazy hotel problem against Ajax, which means there is still a lot of tired legs in there, which it means still the side is not quite the start 11 I'd want, but this is the way we're going to go from things. So Donnarumma starts in goal. It's El Hilali, Kasanov, Vardiol, and Nuri City's back 4. Nico Gonzalez and Rodri, captain, partner in a midfield 2 as we try and have a bit of a stronger midfield base. Tajani Reinders plays as our attacking midfielder with Cherki on the right, Semenyo off the left, and Erling Haaland through the middle. We need to get Haaland scoring again, we need to start being creative again, and we need to also be improved defensively. So that's the way I've gone with things. On the bench we've got Stones, Diaz, O'Reilly, Nunes. I think will drop Stones out for Vita Heist because he's got a bit more fitness than Stones, who looks really tired. Anderson, Savinho, Oscar Bob, and Omar Marmouche. Come on City, let's get back to winning ways now. Well, there is the Manchester City side arriving with Pep Guardiola. We cannot go on like this anymore. We cannot keep having this rut that we're in, because we've been in it for 2 months now, knowing that the Premier League title's on the line. We might be 9 points clear now, but if we continue, we won't be 9 points clear coming in the season. We might not even be Premier League winners once again, and we want to go far in the Champions League as well. We've made our mistakes in the Premier League. We've made our mistakes in the Champions League. The mistakes haven't quite been punished yet, like they were in the Carabao Cup, in the FA Cup, with the side being knocked out of both domestic competitions. But we're in for the league and we're in for the Champions League. They're the 2 main ones, and we're looking to go all the way. Out with 2 sides of the field here today. Looks like Brentford will not start. Star of the season, Claudio Echeverri, one of our players, on loan there. He's been brilliant for them. He doesn't start against us today. He's played against us before, and he's played very well against us. They look still like they've got a strong side. They've got Keith Andrews at the helm, haven't they? He's been doing a great job. Brentford's still in the Premier League. Openda's been a great signing. Let's see how they do line up today. But Brentford also line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, mirroring what we do, I suppose. Killen starts in goal. It is a back 4, Vandenberg, Giller, Collins, and Lewis Potter. Yamaluk and Henderson, the captain, in the midfield too. Darmsgaard, Qatar, and Silamakers supporting Openda up top. Keith Andrews' side has, I think, Claudio Echeverri on the bench. Why to Shirky off that right-hand side today. Don't give him license to roam inside. Kasanov. Reinders. Mike Nuri. Over top here to Semenyo. What a ball. Antoine Semenyo is in. Antoine Semenyo! 1-0 Manchester City. 7 minutes in to changing tactics. Things feel fresh already. Nico Gonzalez loves it. What a ball by Ike Nuri. Like Nuri's been given license to be an inside fullback now. Plays it over top to Semenyo, who pokes it with the right foot goal off his left-hand side. Past him and Kelleher. 1-0 Manchester City. What a start by this City side. Well, Pender's still been found in the box here. Henderson a strike blocked by Rodri. City can't get away. Salamakers, Henderson down the middle at Donnarumma. This real ability to drive with the ball, Nico Gonzalez. It's time to see that used now. Ike Nuri. Semenyo. Reinders. Pokes one back through to Semenyo. Back across the box to Erling Haaland here. Nathan Collins just gets it away. Really nice play by City once again there. We have sort of built this tactic from that. For the moment, Shirky's not having a great game. Pushed out to the right-hand side. Oh, there he is. Winning it back. Shirky. Ball through to Reinders. To Johnny Reinders. Oh, saved by Kelleher. And Semenyo still going here. Brilliant play by Semenyo. Out to Ike Nuri. Reinders, good feet. To Johnny Reinders. Kelleher makes the save and tips it away before Shirky can put it in the back of the empty net. Ball out wide here to Salamakers. Openda. Oh, great speed, great pace. Damsgaard, Kasanov, great interception. Gives it straight back to Brentford, though. Second chance at it. Not really a full chance. Onyeka drags it wide. We're going to make changes of our own now. Reinders. Back to Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob keeps going here. And Bob keeps going here. And Oscar Bob across to Erling Haaland. Good defending again by the opposition. Rodri in there, can't win it. Chance the opposition here. Salamakers. Vardy on the foot in. It's weak. Ike Nuri, that's poor as well. Salamakers goes through here. And there you go. The first real clear-cut chance. And I have to say, it comes from Ike Nuri and Vardy all poor defending. And Ike Nuri's had a great game. Doesn't do enough there. Rodri. Anderson. Rodri. Marmouche. Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob turn. Oscar Bob! Saved! Anderson on the rebound! 2-1 Manchester City. And it's Elliot Anderson off the bench to score. The former Nottingham Forest and Newcastle United man off the bench to score a big goal for Manchester City there. Keeper saves. Oscar Bob's chance. I have to say Oscar Bob. Credit to him. I think that was good work from him. Good turn. Gets in behind. Hits the shot. Saved by Kelleher. Anderson pounces. Anderson scores. Manchester City. Damsgaard. This is too easy. Rodri goes and takes it off him brilliantly. Marmouche. Counter City. Marmouche through to Semenyo. Just won't get the head of Vandenberg. Well, no goal for Erling Haaland again today. Who once again has been quiet. Once again hardly had a chance. Openda. Tackled by Vardy. Full-time whistle goes, but I don't care about Erling Haaland not scoring today. A 2-1 win for City. We're back to winning ways, which is massive, which is important. If we can just get Erling Haaland firing again, I think this formation tactic might just work for Pep Guardiola's side. That is a step in the right direction at least. Well, it's transfer deadline day. 10 hours remain, and we have made our moves. I don't expect to make any moves in, but we could see some young players leave on loan. Well, Riganeski is going to be moving away from the club. He's going to go on a loan for 6 months at the end of the season to Angers in France. A new signing from this January transfer window. Our defender, Goncalo Oliveira, is going to move on a long-term loan to Girona. And John Stones has agreed a free transfer to Stuttgart come the end of the season. That is a bit of a shock. Well, it's 1 hour remaining on transfer deadline day, and we'll just have a look at some of the biggest moves so far. I don't think it's been a really big move window. Zaniolo moves to Torino for 11 million euros. That's one of the biggest deals. John Stones, of course, agreeing a free transfer to Stuttgart come the end of the season, which is a bit of a surprising one that he's decided to go to Stuttgart of all teams, but we know his time at Manchester City is up. Jet Spence moves to Fulham for 30 million euros. Other than that, there's not really any big moves happening in the transfer market. Cardozo Pinto Varela, he's a young winger, isn't he? I think that's been actually linked with Barcelona. He moves for 50 million euros to Dynamo Zagreb. There's actually some big transfers here. Matty Cash going to Strasbourg, owned by Chelsea for 20 million euros thereabout. Ricardo Calafiori leaves Arsenal, which is a big surprise, to move to West Ham United for 44 million euros. That's a big deal, as is Bento from Al Nassr to Inter. And of course, Belasian also moving to Everton to the Premier League from Leverkusen for around 7 million. Well, that is the hour remaining. That is transfer deadline day over. Well, the transfer window ending. I've just spotted this absolutely crazy news from The Athletic in the news area. Exclusive, Vini Jr makes decision to leave Real Madrid this summer. So Vinicius Jr wants to leave Real Madrid. The Brazilian looks for a new challenge away from Spain, but this last line is very, very key. Manchester City are his favoured move, with him wanting to link up with Pep Guardiola. Vinicius Jr wants to come to Manchester City. What do we do? Because we know that Vinicius Jr, maybe he's not the most popular man around Manchester City in terms of the situation with the Ballon d'Or and with Rodri. We know that you guys are maybe not the biggest fans of Vinicius Jr. But with the situation, I suppose, with Jeremy Doku at the moment, the way things have gone with him, we're probably going to be looking for a new left winger in the market if Doku is forced out of the club or forces his way out of the club. And maybe Vinicius Jr is the man to replace him. However, would he completely derail this Manchester City dressing room with his attitude? And so I'm not quite sure. I think the only way to decide this is to put a vote in the community post. Head over to the community post after the episode. We'll put out a vote for, of course, the player of the episode, but we're also going to put in a vote about Vinicius Jr as well. Now, Pep Guardiola comes to his end of his contract at the end of this season. Whether he signs a new deal or not, he hasn't decided yet. He's going to decide that at the end of the season. But if he signs a new deal, Vinicius Jr will come with him. Or do we decide, you know what, it's time to move on from the Pep Guardiola era, bring in a new manager and not have Vinicius Jr come to Manchester City? I think that is a really interesting vote for the live comments on the post. So you guys can vote Vinicius and Pep, or no Pep, no Vinny. Well, the final game of today's episode will be Manchester City versus Aston Villa. City welcome former side of Unai Emery, but now of Ruben Amorim, who actually swapped clubs in the end, didn't they, to the Etihad. Villa in 9th place, Manchester City still top of the table. Back to winning ways against that win against Brentford. Let's do the same today. Let's end things in a positive. I know we did that in the previous episode against Real Madrid, but we started negatively. We've got to end positively and hope the next episode starts positively as well. But we know we've got games against Arsenal and Ajax in the Champions League coming up, which aren't easy games by any means. This aside for Aston Villa today, in goal starts Chichi Donnarumma, is Kusanov, captain Diaz, Vardy and O'Reilly today. The back four, Ait-Nouri drops out, as does El Hilali. It is Nico and Rodri once again partnering that midfield two with Reinders in front, Marmoush on the left, Semenyo on the right and Haaland through the middle. No Cherki, who's dropped to the bench today. Didn't work well off that right hand side. I prefer him in the 10, but I thought Reinders did well in the 10. No, Anderson I think needs to get a bit more games at times, but at the moment Rodri and Nico seems quite aggressive. I think in a game against a lower opposition or someone we want to sort of get the ball further forward, then maybe Reinders drops deep and Cherki comes in or something like that anyway, or Anderson can play in this role anyway ahead of Nico. But for now we'll go with that. Ait-Nouri as well, maybe surprised to be on the bench. This should be enough to beat Aston Villa in 9th place, but we never know with the way the City side have been performing. Well, there is Manchester City coming off the field after the warm-up. Pep Guardiola explaining the tactics of the players. A new tactical tweak that has worked so well, playing two holding midfielders together. Now, we know that in Ruben Amorim's Aston Villa side, they do have a former Manchester City man in Nathan Ake, a hero of the club for many years, now a Villa player. Let's see how Aston Villa do against Manchester City today. Two sides come out to the field knowing this is a big one. This is a big one for both teams. Villa are sort of in that battle with quite a few teams to finish in 5th place, to knock Manchester United out of the position. And obviously Ruben Amorim would love to do that to prove his former employers wrong. Manchester City, top of the table, back to winning ways against Brentford. Been in a massive rut in the Premier League in all competitions. We're feeling, though, a little bit more positive about ourselves after that last one. I thought we performed really well against Brentford. I think we can finish more of our chances if we can sort of eliminate those mistakes, get more clean sheets. We'll be absolutely fine at the top of that Premier League table, and we will stay there. Let's see how Ruben Amorim's Aston Villa line up today. And this is the Aston Villa side then for Ruben Amorim. A 4-3-3. He's abandoned the 3-4-3 that he played at United. It's Martinez in goal. A back four of Konsa, Ake, Torres and Maatsen. Tielemans, Onana and Kamara in the midfield three. Watkins, Louis Barry and Luan Bailey. The front three on the bench. They have got Morgan Rogers. John Durrani returns to the side. And also a man on loan from Manchester City in Jimmy Bart. Across the box towards Antoine Semenyo. Dealt with by Martinez, it's given away to Semenyo here. Antoine Semenyo hits it right at Martinez. Good chance, poor finish. Louis Barry taken off him by Casanova. I wanted to play at right back in the last one. He was a little bit tired. Ali played, but he looks good again yet. O'Reilly into Reinders. Tajani Reinders! That's why he's starting at 10 at the moment. 1-0 Manchester City, and similar to the Brentford game, we get an early goal. Played in by O'Reilly. In the last 2 games, our left full-back, whether it be O'Reilly or Knight-Nuri, have come inside and played into sort of a midfield diamond. That is the way we've gone with things. So, Rangers at the tip of the diamond. We've got O'Reilly and Nico either side, or Knight-Nuri it was in the last one, and then Rodri holding in that diamond in midfield. O'Reilly steps in and gets an assist just like we saw Knight-Nuri do. He's 5th this Premier League season. 1-0 City early on. Back inside to Rodri, well played. O'Reilly. To Marmouche. O'Reilly. Could be a second assist for O'Reilly. Haaland hits one. Save by the keeper. Semenyo on the rebound. Haaland, how's he not scored there? Into Marmouche. Holds it well. Reinders. Nico. Reinders. I think Anderson would be really good for that role that Nico's doing at the moment. Just I trusted Nico a little bit more in that position. Reinders. Nico. Over top. Reinders. Tajani Reinders! Oh, how are we not 2 or 3-0 up here, Manchester City? Holden Vardiol. Forward to Marmouche, counter City. Marmouche. Reinders plays Haaland. Haaland against Ake. This is not going to end well for Nathan Ake. Haaland. Haaland. Haaland! Haaland is back. 2-0 Manchester City. He's 26th in 25 appearances. It should be more. He's had a really bad run. Well, there we go. From a narrow angle, but he powers away from Nathan Ake. He's found by Tajani Reinders. And Haaland is back. And back scoring again. And Tajani Reinders looking brilliant in the 10. Back into Reinders. Back onto O'Reilly. Marmouche. O'Reilly. Across the box. Haaland is there. Haaland still. Great defending by Pau Torres. O'Reilly. Reinders. Anderson. What a ball. Semenyo's off here. Semenyo into Haaland. Nathan Ake reads it. Rodgers. Wide towards Leon Bailey. Trying to do O'Reilly here. He's done him initially. He has chance for Villa. Donnarumma makes a brilliant first save. But the reaction time is not there. And we do concede with no clean sheet again here. Someone's got to be there to help out defensively, but they're not. And Gussond nestles it into the empty net. Fires it in, by the way. There's no way Donnarumma is saving that. We're going to make changes here. Away to Semenyo. Can't head it down. City in trouble again here. Back over top here. Diaz loses the header. Watkins blocked by Vardiol. Back to Jonder and 2-2. He's returned to Villa. And his first shot is in the back of the net. O'Reilly. Brilliant by O'Reilly. Crossing by O'Reilly. It's Anderson again in there. Punched away by Martinez. Villa look like they might get a point away at the Etihad here. Anderson, good play by him. Can't keep it though. Watkins. Ball in behind. Trouble again for City. What a finish by Ian Maatson. 3-2 Villa. We can just not turn this corner. We cannot turn this corner that we're stuck in at the moment. We can't turn this corner. It's just time and time again we're stuck in it. But our defence, we can't. We score 2 goals, our defence lets us down a game. We end the episode with a 3-2 defeat to Villa. Just can't get going. And that defence is terrible. How are we going to go far in the Champions League? How are we going to win this Premier League? We've got such a big lead, thankfully so, for a crazy start to the season. This is bad. At one point, we're beating teams 7-0. And now, every other week, we're getting beat. And look when the goals come as well. We're winning the first half, 2-0 up at half-time. All the goals come late in the game. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. I don't know where to go from here. I'm really worried for the rest of the season. I'll see you guys next time.